like we're live. Hey everyone, it's been Dylan Night here with my friend Shrek 1990, and this is the premiere pilot episode of a brand new spin-off series at Talking Time with Caffeine, which I like to call Game Discussions. I
We might
realize,
come up with a better name later.
yeah, we talk about a lot of things on Talking Time with Caffeine, different things, but I decided to have a whole series focused just on games. So we're gonna talk about each episode either about an individual game, a series of games, maybe a company or a console itself. We can go into full detail of what we like, hate, or despise about them, or love. An honor,
And maybe even some history about them.
in honor of Snick here, I decided our first episode will be about his favorite quote quote game, the Shreks.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, there's not much Vandalia can contribute to on that front, but I can talk about the Shrek series quite a bit. But yeah, if you need any, I don't think the Shrek franchise needs any introduction. Um, it's a great series of movies, but of course the internet turned into a big meme. Um, Curiously, the first Shrek is the only what at one point was the only non-Disney movie to be listed in the top 10 list of best animated movies ever made. The pure irony of the situation being that Shrek was made by DreamWorks, which is headed by a former Disney executive. Curiously, the same executive who thought Pocahontas was going to be a big hit, Lion King was going to bomb, and he nearly ran Toy Story into the ground. But hey, Shrek came out good, at least.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, obviously, a lot of animation enthusiasts actually do not like Shrek very much, only because it, alongside Toy Story, caused the downfall of 2D animation. And more people pin the blame on Shrek, because while Toy Story basically made 3D animated movies a thing, Shrek basically said anyone can make it and make it good and make a lot of money. Or maybe there's more to it, but our focus is on the Shrek games, because obviously with a movie as popular as Shrek, there's going to be a lot of Shrek games. Should I get the elephant out of the room right now, or should I talk about my childhood experiences with Shrek games?
Up to you.
Because part of me wants to go in the chronological order of when the Shrek games were released, but then again, I kind of can, yeah. From what I can tell, Shrek on Xbox was not the first Shrek game ever made. In reality, that distinction goes to a Game Boy Color game called Shrek Fairy Tale Freakdown. That game was a fighting game on the Game Boy Color where you literally only have 2 buttons, plus a D-pad. And needless to say, I played Shrek Fairy Tale Freakdown as a kid, and I really did not like it, even as a kid. Mostly because, from what I remember playing it, I would always get through the first two stages, but then eventually I would get to a mini boss fight with the gingerbread man, and the fight would start, and immediately I would be walking, and then I would be just taking damage out of nowhere. It wasn't until I played the game because the original Game Boy models are infamous for how they are very hard to see without proper lighting.
Oh yeah.
But eventually, when I somehow, because I actually did lose the game, but I don't remember if I lost it before or after I got my Game Boy Advance SP. Oh, by the way, I don't have that Game Boy Advance SP anymore because my dad sold it against my will, but that's besides the point.
I think we talked about that on the KH Lore podcast episode.
Yeah, in the KH Lore podcast, I mentioned how he wouldn't let me get the original chains, but let me think. That was in 2007. 2 years later, he would sell my Game Boy Advance SP and my sister's original DS. He even gave up my original Game Boy Advance, all because he wanted to save as much money as possible on my sister's DSi, which, as we all know, can't play Game Boy games. Way I see it, he should not have. The SP and the original DS, I understand, but the original Game Boy Advance, he only got $5 on it. I lost a system for $5 he could have just pulled out of his pocket. But yeah, getting back to Shrek. It wasn't until I finally got to play the game under proper lighting when I discovered the gingerbread man was throwing little cookie pellets at me that are so microscopic that you can barely see them. Then later on, I eventually managed to get to the second mini boss fight with the dragon, and the dragon was a huge pain in the ass. But then I eventually beat the dragon, and then the final boss was Lord Farquaad, and I think he was the easiest out of, the three bosses. But as we all know, this is a Game Boy Color game, and they obviously didn't put a save battery in, so yeah, the game was real shit. And it's probably, if I still owned it, I would rank it with Powerpuff Girls on PS1 as one of the worst fighting games ever. Yeah, but that's all I remember of it, because like I said, I did lose it, and I can't speak for it no more. Then, of course, we get to the elephant in the room, Shrek on Xbox. I knew about Shrek on Xbox for a while, but I never actually got it until I decided to buy it with some birthday money in 2016, back in March 2016. And, oh my god. The thing is, Shrek was actually released as a launch title for the original Xbox. And kind of like how the movie was meant to be kind of groundbreaking for 3D animation, like another stepping stone.
Yeah.
The thing is, what?
I said yeah.
Shrek on Xbox was meant to be a hit launch title for the original Xbox. The thing about it is that its graphics are actually really damn good. I would even argue that it could pass as an early 360 game. And it was notably one of the first games to make use of a technique called deferred shading, where basically realistic shadows are applied to like the backgrounds and everything. Like when you walk under a tree, like the shadows look as though you're actually walking under a tree. And the thing is, that actually really put Shrek on Xbox ahead of its time in terms of graphics, because deferred shading wouldn't become a standard in games until like 2008, when Stalker and GTA 4 came out. And truth is, the game was developed by DICE, who's well known for the Battlefield series, and the Battlefield series are always cutting edge with graphics. Same goes for like Star Wars Battlefront, at least the ones they made. And yeah. So all that sounds really nice, but when it comes to the actual gameplay of Shrek on Xbox, I don't even know if I can put it in words. So I think let's try to get a nice little recording of Brandon to speak for us, if I can pull it up. Just bear with me for a second. Here we go. On. Why? Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen of this YouTube channel and Let's Play, this game has broken my spirit. This game has taken it too far. Avast! Avast! Go away! You don't want to see this, Avast! You do not want to fucking see this, Avast! What the fuck is your problem, Avast? I want to save you. I wish I could save my friends. I don't fucking care, Avast. Go away! Avast. Avast. You couldn't save me from Shrek. I couldn't save myself from Shrek. I should have heeded Schnick's warning. I should have listened. I should have fucking listened.
And right after, he proceeded to smash a disc copy he had of the game. Yeah. Truth is, Shrek is such a clunky platformer, if you can call it that. Like, there's barely any platforming to be done in it. Then again, Brandon tried playing the race mode, which are basically like time trials, but the thing is, the Shrek race mode barely gives you enough time, if even, to complete each race mode. So that drove Brandon to insanity. And the overall game, like, the thing is, there's a lot of fetch quests where you can easily get lost, because there's the Molasses Sewers level, that is such a huge labyrinth. Like, Brandon took forever trying to catch those stupid fairies that were, like, part of the... Like, every level you have to catch fairies as, like, a mission.
And Easter eggs.
Yeah, and the fairies move so goddamn fast that they're like a huge bitch to catch. And do I even need to mention the Merlin fight?
Oh, not to me, but to other people you might.
Well, the thing about the whole thing is, this was made before Shrek the Third, when Merlin was actually introduced into the Shrek series. And so Merlin is basically the villain of the game, and the last level takes place in his fortress. In this level, you have to break through several doors using exploding barrels, okay? And the thing is, these barrels do not explode on their own. You either need to put them in front of the door, and then you have to wait eons for them to explode, or there's these fire knights walking around the arena. Like, the thing about Shrek on Xbox is that you cannot kill enemies. The most you can do is stun them for a few seconds. These fire knights constantly keep shooting you with fire, and I think the goal that DICE intended was for the Fire Knights, or Fire Guys, as I called them in my Let's Play series, is that they need to hit the barrel. Like, I think you need to fart, and then when the fart is lit on fire, then the barrel will explode. But the thing is, the Fire Guys are always aiming at you. They're, like, basically the only way you can get them to hit the barrel is if you basically use yourself as a meat shield. And, so yeah, getting the barrels to explode to get through the doors is annoying. Another thing is, once again, the freaking Fire Guys shoot you so much that you can lose health in an instant, and if you die, you have to repeat the entire level again. And the only way to refill your health is to go up in a hidden crevice near the top of one of the rooms where there's some health. And to get up there, you have to do wall jumps against these slanted walls, which can be quite clunky to do. And once again, if you fall down, like, you risk getting hit by the Fire Guys again. And don't even get me started when you actually do manage to get to Merlin, because Merlin constantly shoots magic at you throughout the fight. And once again, as soon as you get into the room where Merlin is, the room seals off, so you're unable to go back for the health. And if you die during the Merlin fight, back to the beginning. Like, it's so bad because it would frequently take me like a half hour just to get up to Merlin. And the one time I got up to him at first, he killed me when I was one hit away from killing him. And I had probably one of the biggest breakdowns I've ever had in my YouTube career. But eventually I powered on through, beat him, and you're treated to one of the worst endings in games. Literally all you get is a still image of Fiona kissing Shrek.
Totally worth all the stuff you went through. Totally worth it. I say it ironically.
Yeah. Thankfully, playing the game is not very easy anymore because, sure, you can get Xbox emulators, but actually playing the game using the real disc, you need an original Xbox because it was never made backwards compatible on the 360, and it's probably never going to be made backwards compatible on Xbox One thanks to licensing issues.
Huh? How come?
Because, well, basically, let me describe it this way. The game was originally published by TTwC, which is a media company that no longer publishes games, and I don't even know if they exist anymore. Additionally, DICE, the developer, is now owned by EA, and Activision would scoop up the Shrek license afterward. And I don't know who has the license now, but Activision was the last company to have it. So the only way Shrek would be added to the backwards... Thing is, when games get added to the backwards compatibility list on Xbox One, the publisher or whoever owns the rights to the game has to agree to it. Like, Microsoft can't just put it out there. Because especially with original Xbox games, they now have to do digital re-releases of of all backwards compatible games, especially for the original Xbox library, considering that not everyone has access to the original discs. Like, sure, there's Amazon and eBay, but not everyone likes doing that. Not to mention the rarity some of the games may have. But yeah, the money on the game has to go somewhere. Microsoft can't just take it for themselves. Like, DreamWorks would have to be involved, obviously. And simply put, like, EA would probably need to have a say in it because DICE made it. But then again, publishers usually have the say in everything. But it all depends. Sometimes the developers get the say too. And then, of course, Activision. I've noticed that anytime they give up on a license, it just tends to be stuck in limbo. Like the James Bond series, for example, after 007 Legends commercially flopped, Activision ended up delisting all their Bond games from sale on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, and the Wii U eShop with 007 Legends on Wii U. And ever since then, no one's bothered picking up the James Bond license. So I don't know if Activision just decided to keep it and then just not do anything with it, or if legit no one's interested in making a James Bond game anymore. Yeah, so that's all the legal crap that would be involved to thankfully keep Shrek on Xbox from ever becoming backwards compatible. So, yeah, with all that being said, we move on to a PS1 game, Shrek Treasure Hunt. Basically, it's a cheap little mini game collection that I played, and it led to my famous line, "Stop scratching your ass." Referring to the fact that one of the mini games has Shrek fishing. And throughout the damn mini game, the controls will lock up so that Shrek can do an animation of scratching his ass. I am not even kidding.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I wasn't there for it, but
Yeah, you weren't there for it. Brandon and Mario were there for it, though. I'm pretty sure you watched the video, did you not?
oh yeah.
Yep. So there's not much to say about Shrek Treasure Hunt. All it really was just a little bit of a cash grab for PS1 owners, I guess. And around the same time, a GameCube port of Shrek on Xbox titled Shrek Extra Large came out. Thing is, probably because of the critical reception, everyone claims that Shrek Extra Large is an even worse version of Shrek on Xbox. I'm gonna be blunt. They're dead wrong. Because in reality, the only thing Shrek Extra Large does worse than Shrek on Xbox is that its graphics are not as good. Like, the Xbox version has steady frame rate, and the extra large version, its frame rate can stutter quite a bit, and then of course the graphical quality is obviously lower. Like, I've already tried to make Shrek, the way Shrek's face looks like in the game, like I tried making it a meme on my channel. To the point where I've considered the Shrek and Shrek Extra Large a deformed clone of the real Shrek. Let me think. So the thing about Shrek Extra Large is that the actual gameplay is heavily improved. For one thing, the missions in each level are more streamlined. Like, you have to do them in a bit of a linear fashion. I mean, you still have levels you still have the entirety of each level to explore, but you have to do each mission in like a fixed method, like basically in a fixed order. Some people may argue they don't like how you don't have the freedom to do everything how you want, but at the same time, it makes the game much easier to understand. Like, Shrek on Xbox just dropped you in the levels with like short little explanations for what you need to do, and that was it. But then Shrek Extra Large actually does help you try to understand the game a bit better. And the Easter egg and fairy missions were actually made completely optional. And the thing about them, Brandon discovered this, is if you do complete them, you actually get health bonuses. Like, basically, they're turned into optional missions that reward you. And then not to mention, there's a lot more power-ups thrown in, like Shrek's able to do a belly flop, or as Brandon calls it, the dunk. And eventually, you also gain the ability to breathe fire. Like, you have that ability by eating chili peppers in the Xbox version, but by the end of the extra large version, it becomes a normal ability, which ties into the Merlin fight. You're able to use your acquired fire breath to make the barrels explode. On top of making it so you don't have to wall jump as much in the level, and health becomes a lot more common in the level. So the Merlin fight in the extra large version is infinitely better. Not to mention, 2 extra levels that weren't in the Xbox version were added. So literally, the extra large version is in nearly every aspect better than the Xbox version.
Yeah. I remember you did a whole series on that game, didn't you? Holiday series.
I did. I did a bunch of holiday specials on it. So, yeah. Way I see it, if you need to play Shrek on Xbox, get the extra large version. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Trying to see if we're live.
We are now on YouTube, though.
Oh, not on YouTube? Where? On Twitch?
Yeah.
Oh. Twitch. Hang on. Yeah, I'm trying to see, because is the chat active or not really?
Not really. I don't have that many viewers on Twitch yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on getting more audience.
Huh.
Because I want to spread out my audience, to more places in case, YouTube ever goes down again.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at your thing.
And plus, from Twitch, I can always upload it from Twitch to YouTube. So I can. Unfortunately, it can't go the other way yet. I can't upload YouTube videos to Twitch, but I can upload Twitch videos to YouTube. And from there, I go to VidMe.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a river.
Well, yeah.
Alright, so.
But yeah, that's Shrek Extra Large. There were a bunch of GBA games published by TDK, but I don't own any of them. One of them is called Shrek Swamp Kart Racer, which I've heard is a shitty clone of Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. There was also Shrek Hassle in the Castle, which has all the Shrek characters as deformed bobbleheads. And from what I can tell, the weird thing about the original Shrek movie is that it doesn't really have proper game adaptations. Like, Shrek on Xbox is supposed to be like a pseudo-sequel to the movie. But from what I can tell, Hassle in the Castle and GBA is the closest thing we have to an actual adaptation of the first movie. There's also Shrek Super Party on the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, notably the first Shrek game released on the PS2. And it was basically like a bit of a Mario Party clone. It's actually not that bad. And I reviewed it on my channel, so I guess you could check that out if you'd like. I don't remember if I fucked up the quality of the video, though. So, let's see. What else is there? Well, Shrek Super Party was probably one of the last Shrek games published by TDK just before they went under as a game company. And from there, let me think. Well, from there, Activision scooped up the rights, and let me tell you, Activision churned out quite a few Shrek games. But I'll tell you this much. Even though there were still shitty Shrek games under Activision, they actually did manage to churn out a few good ones. And one of them was actually Shrek 2 on PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. So, basically what Shrek 2 was, it was basically a 4-player co-op game, which was kind of top-down, like kind of think Gauntlet, or, yeah, Gauntlet's like the best way to describe what the gameplay is like. Like, you run around a stage exploring, like collecting items, fighting enemies on occasion. And yeah, you know what? It was pretty good for what it was. There was also a completely different game on the PC. I did not play the PC game, but I read a lot about it in the strategy guide for Shrek 2, which outlined both the Gauntlet clone and the PC version. From what I can tell, the PC version was more of a straightforward platformer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't say too much about the PC version because since it's been a while since I read the strategy guide, but yeah, it existed. Then let's see. Then between Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third, they did a couple of spin-off games. There's two I remember in particular. There was Shrek Super Party. No, there was Shrek. I almost said Shrek Super Party. There was Shrek Super Slam, which was actually a 3D fighting game. Like, it was kind of a Power Stone clone, except the main goal was to build up a slam meter. Kind of think the super moves from PlayStation All-Stars. And the thing about Shrek Super Slam is that it was pretty damn good, too. In fact, it actually gets played professionally at some fighting game tournaments. Like, that's kind of impressive for a licensed game. Like, there was a very short story mode, but there's an event mode where so much shit could be done. Like, I don't even know if I could Let's Play Shrek Super Slam because it would take forever for me to complete it. You know?
Yeah. This
was back in the day when fighting games were encouraged to have a lot of single-player content. Like, nowadays, it's all about dem multiplayer. Fuck Smash Bros. 4, by the way. Went down that route, too. But yeah, like, Shrek Super Slam was just an overall solid game. Like, it's not perfect, but you know what? It was entertaining. And then after that, we had Shrek Smash and Crash Racing, which was obviously a racing game. That was a lot more of a Mario Kart clone, kind of like Shrek Swamp Kart Racer, except this one was in 3D. It was on the PS2, the GameCube, I think the Wii, but I might be wrong. Brandon found it to be a complete piece of shit. I really did like it as a kid, though, but when I played it for a live stream a couple of months ago, I ended up rage quitting on the second tournament.
You did?
Yeah, I did. So, yeah, I don't know how I can defend myself from that, but I do remember Shrek at Smash and Crash Racing. I remember it having a decent length in single-player content, like a lot of tournaments to complete, a lot of characters to unlock. Yeah. So then after that, we got a game based on the third movie, Shrek the Third. I had it on PS2 at first, and I still have it, but then I later got the 360 version, pretty much just for the achievements. Essentially, it's a mixture of beat 'em up and platformer. I didn't think it was that bad. Like, it definitely wasn't anything special, but for what it was okay. Like, there's a lot of side objectives to complete, so you're encouraged to explore the levels. And of course, you also gain money through playing the game, and you're encouraged to spend the money on a lot of hidden secrets like extra costumes, extra difficulty levels, extra. Like, there's also these multiplayer mini games. Not that I think anyone would play them too much. But yeah, Shrek the Third was just there to promote the movie, more or less. Then there was another Shrek game called Shrek's Carnival Craze Party Games. I don't own that one, but basically, from what I can tell, it's a shitty Mario Party clone. Then, from what I can tell, there was also a Nintendogs ripoff on the DS where basically you interacted with Shrek's children, the ogre babies.
Really?
Basically, you took care of an ogre baby. I don't know who would play that.
You eventually?
I sure as hell would. What?
I would say you eventually.
Fuck no. Why would I want to do a simulator game like that?
But Shrek babysitting.
I thought you were going to say Shrek Baby's Kisses. Because fuck that shit. The only real baby's kisses need to come from my dog. But I would hate to see what it's like to babysit an ogre baby. Oh my god. And of course you have Brandon, or was it Mario? I think it was Mario saying, "Oh, I'd hate to see what Fiona's period looks like." My god. Well, anyways, probably one of the last Shrek games ever made was the game based on the fourth movie, Shrek Forever After, which currently remains the final movie in the main Shrek series. Basically, it was another co-op game where you could play as Shrek, Fiona, Puss in Boots, and Donkey, and they all had their own special abilities. Like, it was kind of like a Lego game. That's the best way to describe it. I barely played it, but I'm eventually going to play it for YouTube. So yeah, I didn't think it was that bad from what I played of it. Like, I basically only played it for like 10 minutes to play test it. Then after that, we got a bit of an action game based on the Puss in Boots spin-off movie. I don't know what kind of reviews it's gotten, but I am going to get it eventually. Then the last time we saw anything Shrek related was when Shrek was a playable character in Madagascar Karts and DreamWorks Superstar Karts, which were basically Mario Kart clones again. And that about covers all the Shrek games that have come out recently. Like, the last things I can talk about are the portable versions of some of the some games. Like, I own the GBA version of Shrek 2, which is like a standard side-scroller. I actually lost my original copy, but then I rebought it in a double pack cartridge with another game based on a DreamWorks movie. And it's about similar fare, like how I remembered it. And then I also played the DS version of Shrek the Third, which is another side-scrolling platformer where basically you had to play as Shrek, Puss in Boots, and King Arthur, and they all had their own unique abilities. And it was like a puzzle-solving platformer, more or less. Unfortunately, though, my copy of the DS version, my ma, thinking I didn't want the game anymore, ended up giving it to my friend Jason to give him some games to play on his new DS Lite at the time. And I don't even think he played them. I don't blame him, because I don't remember the Shrek the Third game being anything special. But Yeah, that's about all the history I have with Shrek Games. Are you even there? Hello? Is the stream?
Oh, you hear me now?
What the fuck?
Microphone.
Hang on.
Ugh.
Of course, I have to watch a goddamn ad. Ooh, Axe shampoo. How lovely.
Nice. Okay. Testing. Stupid microphone. Hello.
I guess Vandalia is just gone.
Hello. Stupid Skype. Ugh.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Can you not see me on the camera? On the live stream?
Oh, I'm not frozen. Apparently, Vandalia I can no longer hear for some reason. What the fuck?
Gotta love stuff.
What a goddamn shame. And now the wind's picking up outside my house. Wind and rain. Swear to God, if the power goes out of my house.
Alright, well.
Hang on a goddamn minute. Let me see if it's something on my end.
Okay, my microphone's working. This is working here.
Okay, audio settings.
Okay.
It's definitely not me, because I guess I can't hear him.
Well, let's see. Alright, so my microphone's working, I guess. Let me see if my microphone's working on Skype. Mute myself. See. Yeah, I can hear myself on Skype. Alright, so my microphone's working, I guess. Let me see if my microphone's working on Skype. I mean Twitch. Mute myself. See. Yeah, I can hear myself on Skype. Alright, so my microphone's working, I guess. Let me see if my microphone's working on Skype. I mean Twitch. Alright, so that's not a problem. I have no idea why Snick can't hear me, but it's working. The stream's working. So, all right. I guess this is episode one of Game Discussing Talking Time with Caffeine. Audio issues between the two of us over Skype, I'm guessing, because there's no problem that I see on Twitch itself. It's working fine.
Oh, I know Vandalia can't hear me, but I did wrap up what I was talking about, so.
I can hear him. I totally can hear him, but he can't. But he can't hear me to say I can hear him. Check your Skype inbox, Snick. Check your Skype inbox. Alright, I guess this is wrapping up episode 1, and I'll enjoy the randomness, and hopefully we'll get the bugs worked out of this, and hopefully MarioTube will be on next week to...
Oh, wait, yes. He can hear me, but I can't hear him, so, whatever.
Enjoy the randomness. We'll see you next time for game number 2, or game series number 2, whatever we decide to do. See ya!